My name is Coach B, the CEO, co-creator of Extraordinary Outcomes. I'm an ordinary person with extraordinary aspirations who believes in living life fully alive. Welcome to Monday Morning Magic. Good morning, CEOs. Good morning, CEOs, co-creators of Extraordinary Outcomes. My name is Coach B, the CEO, the co-creator of Extraordinary Outcomes. I'm an ordinary person with extraordinary aspirations who believes in living life fully alive. And I want to thank you for coming to Monday. I'm so excited. I'm bubbling up on the inside. I want to welcome you to Monday Morning Magic. Wow, I have a great topic for you guys today. Season for change. Spring ahead. So this weekend we had, you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. Yes, great topic. Season for change. Spring ahead. I want to first do my thank yous to everyone who came to the Let's Get It Done Season for Change seminar that we had this Saturday from 10 to 12. I want to thank Diana, Ditto, rather, Donna, Joy, Laura, Renee, Sherry, and Wanda. Thank you, ladies, for coming out to support the Let's Get It Done seminar. Season for change. We got into our mindset, how to be authentic, what's blocking us from showing up powerfully. So, again, I want to thank all the ladies that came out for the seminar this past weekend. And season. What's the season? Right? The topic is season for change, spring ahead. So, what's a season? A season is a period of time. A period of time. And I feel like I want to start this broadcast a little bit over, but you know what? Because I feel like I'm missing some important information. I guess, some people say I'm struggle streaming, but it's okay. Um, I don't know. I keep putting a slide in, and then when I go back to look for the slide, it's not there. But I'll figure that out, right? And I want to be authentic. I want to be focused so that I can serve you. So the topic today is season for change, spring ahead. And as I said earlier, I wanted to thank all the young ladies who came out this Saturday uh, to make a change in their lives. And season, what is a season? A season is a period of time, period of time, a period of time. Uh, Nighttime, daytime, winter, spring, summer, fall. These are seasons. Sometimes they say that in our lives, we have seasons that we grow through or go through, but nonetheless, there's a season that happens in our lives. And this is spring, right? We have, I believe it's March the 20th. We have about a week and a day, maybe, and we'll be in springtime. And I don't know about you, Sunday I woke up and it kind of hit me like a little late after the fact to change my clocks. Spring ahead, change my clock up 1 hour. Theoretically, we'll get more daylight during this time and we'll feel like we're rejuvenated, that we have more energy. And this will mark a period of time in our lives. But springtime symbolizes new beginnings, rebirth, planting, and transformation. There's something about spring that makes you feel alive again. And that may be because we just came out of winter. For some people, winter is very hard. seasonal adjustment disorder. Some people get depressed during the winter time because it's dark and it's gloomy outside, and then spring comes, and then there's a revitalization of energy. There's new hopes, new dreams that come alive, and people feel energetic. We have a saying, I'm going to do some spring cleaning, meaning that there's things that we need to let go of because we've outgrown them. They no longer serve a purpose. And in that way, it becomes a new beginning. And better yet, a transformation happens. A couple of springs ago, I have a plot and a community garden in my neighborhood, and I began planting seeds. And I had to sow meaning what? I had to till the ground, and I had to turn the dirt over, the soil over. And I had to actually learn how to plant seeds. See, seeds are a funny thing. When you're planting, some seeds need to be right underneath the dirt. Some seeds need to be maybe a half an inch into the soil, depending on what the plant, depending on the root. And it will determine the growth of whatever you're planting. And you can't put just one seed in. You have to put a few seeds in. Some will germinate, some won't. And then you have to be mindful of where you're putting your seeds, because the roots, some plants need a lot of water and they will take the water from another plant. Some roots get so big, so long, and so strong, they will strangle the other roots underneath the ground. And then you have to be mindful of the environment on the top because you get weeds, right? And why am I talking about all of this? I had the privilege of growing collard greens and kale and arugula and tomatoes and herbs in my garden. And I was amazed at how much space certain plants take up, depending on the bark of the plant, the root of the plant, how much it takes up, and being guided in learning. Don't put these seeds next to this batch of seeds, right? And what happened was I was watching the transformation. I put seeds in the ground. I prepared the ground first. I put seeds in the ground, and I couldn't see the transformation that was happening underneath inside the soil. But I knew that I needed to go out and water. I needed to make sure there was no weeds there. I needed to make sure that the plants were getting enough light. And lo and behold, this transformation happened. I would go out periodically and watch the budding of the plants, watching the budding of the vegetation. And I was amazed at the process. Sometimes new beginnings and rebirth, planting, and the transformation process happens internally. And what's happening on the inside, like in the ground and the soil, you won't see everything. because it's internal. But you will begin to see how the plant, the new birth, the new beginning will begin to develop because it will start showing signs of life. And what happened for me, it made me realize that this transformation period that we have in our life when we're going through a season of change is a precious process because at any stage of the process, it can alter what the change could be. And what do I mean by that? As I said, I started off planting a couple of years ago, but my first year, I didn't have the same results as my second year. My first year, I was a newbie. I was making mistakes. I was putting the seeds too far in the ground. I wasn't going out enough to hydrate the soil so that the seed can get enough water. And even though I was getting some yield from what I was doing, I didn't get what I had last year. And last year was such an abundance, right? What happened was, as I became more informed about gardening and what to do, and began following the instructions of the seedlings, because each seed requires something different, that when I started understanding that all seeds are not the same, because their structure is not the same, their DNA is not the same per se, and that they require different things. So even though seeds could look the same, they're not the same. I'm talking about small seeds, by the way. I'm not talking about like the seed from an avocado or your apple seed or the seeds inside of a pear or things like that. I'm just talking about your small seeds. But even when you look at those, they might be tiny, but sometimes they're different in color. Some plants, they require you to put 5 or 6 in a particular area. Some want you to put 8, 9 in. And it's a reason for that, right? For that germination process to happen. And what I realized, like I said, in the beginning, I wasn't doing it as instructed. I was just making a hole in the ground, putting the seeds in, watering the thing. And then I wasn't getting the results that I wanted. And you say, Lila, how does this all tie into, this coaching and being a life coach? You know, change. Change is a process, right? And so when we think about change is either progressive, regressive, or there's inertia in the change process. And so when we think about change, this is a season for change, spring ahead, right? We have more energy, we're rejuvenated because we got the rest in the winter time, and we're ready to go. We're ready to go. We're ready for something new and different to happen. So when I think about change, I think about, what does change really represent? So there's progressive change happening or developing gradually or in stages. And it goes back to the plant analogy that I was just using. Like when the seeds was underground, I couldn't see the gradual change. It wasn't until the plant started to bud, started to come up from underneath the soil, that I started to see, oh wow, this thing is really going to grow. The hope was there. I was excited about it. And then I realized that even at that stage of the gradual growth, that if I didn't take care of it during its growth process, during this change process, that it could have started off well, but if I didn't take care of it, it wouldn't finish well. Meaning that the plants wouldn't survive, they wouldn't thrive. And so I had to learn how to do that part as well, right? And then there's regressive change, returning to the former state. And can that happen with plants? Yes, to a degree, right? So plants come from the earth, they can return back to the earth. But if you don't take care of your plants will decay and they'll go back to the earth. They'll decay and you won't benefit from that. The ground might benefit from it because, we have insects and things of that nature. They may benefit because, we are in a, what is it? That we eat from the earth and we feed the earth too, right? We have the symbiotic thing going on. But then there's an earthier, right? A tendency to do nothing or remain unchanged. When I think about a season of change, I'm thinking about how can I be progressive and not regressive and not practice inertia? Meaning, I don't want to be stagnated. I don't want to remain the same. I want to be able to progress and I don't want to regress. If there's something that I'm changing for my betterment, of course, I want progression. I want to progress. I want to be progressive. I want to move ahead. Yet, I don't want to regress. But what's so funny about regression is that if I'm not working towards one direction, chances are I'm regressing in the other direction. What do I mean by that? What I simply mean is this is that with the planting, if I don't go out and take care of the plants the way they need to be taken care of, the transformation won't happen. There will be a level of inertia, they won't develop, they'll decay, regress, and then I won't have a plant. So that new birth and that revitalization that I was looking for, and I'm using the planting as an analogy, it won't happen. So it's really important that when we begin something, we're planting seeds because we want to change something, that we tend to the garden because if we don't tend to it, one or two things is going to happen. If we don't tend to it, then the inertia comes in and it will what? Remain the same. It won't change. But eventually it will do what? It will go back. It'll stay the same for a period and then it will go back. It will regress. So I was able last year, and I'm looking forward to this planting season, right? Looking forward to what I can create next in my life. I've been practicing a philosophy for the last few years now. What can I create in my life? I'm not talking about drama, I'm not talking about trauma, I'm not talking about any of those things. I'm talking about creating a lifestyle that is enjoyable to me, that's fulfilling to me, and how out of that place of having a lifestyle that is fulfilling to me to have the opportunity to serve other people. So for the last couple of years, that question and that way of being for me has been my number one priority. Pour into myself so that I could pour into others. And what's happening is that it's becoming this way of life now that I look forward to the season of change. I look forward to the transformation. I look forward to planting new ideas and new concepts. I look forward to revitalizing my life. I look forward to, okay, what's new that I can do this year? What's new that I can do in my business? How can I serve more? How can I be present more? Now, I'm not talking about, because I did service versus servitude last week, if you caught that video, right? I did that last week. I'm talking about being of service to my community, to my family, and to myself. And the one way that I can fulfill on all of that, one way that I can keep my word to all of that is what? Preparing for a season of change. Understanding that I need to be forward focused, not past focused, but forward focused, meaning today, hey, what can I do today that's going to generate the lifestyle that I want tomorrow? So for me, the transformation, the new beginning, the vitalization comes into place because I'm thinking ahead, I'm springing ahead, I'm thinking ahead. If I want a quality of life, what do I want that quality of life to look like? What do I need to do? If I want to amass X, Y, and Z, what do I need to do today so that in 2023, by the end of 2023, that's there? Like I don't have to wait. And I'm learning and I'm sharing this with you guys, right? Because this is so big for coaching, right? That I don't have to wait for something to happen to make something happen. Like I can go out and create something. That's so powerful, right? Like I could go out, I could create Monday morning magic. I could put the footwork in. I can do this 7:30 in the morning, be here so that I can pour into my community and hopefully somebody's listening and getting something out of it that's making their day or making their day or making their week, giving them food for thought. I can do that. I can do that. And it's amazing for me that I can do this. And I'm just using this as a small example. And it's powerful for me, right? And when I think about coaching, I think about coaching questions as they relate to the season of change and springing ahead and creating this life that I want. I wonder, right, what in your life needs transformation during the season? For me, I like to step back and reflect. Hey, Lila. Hey, Coach B. Is there anything that needs transformation in your life right now? If so, what? And then what's standing in my way today from creating that transformation? A lot of times we can get caught up with everything has to be perfect. I can't do it until I have this, until I have that, till I have this, until I have that. And the honest truth is, we just need to do one small thing at a time. And the thing that we want to create will materialize. Now, here's the funny thing, I got to let go of the results because it might be way better than I imagined. It may be way different than what I ever imagined. But the point here is I need to be within the season. I need to be prepared. I need to be there. I need to be present because the change that I'm looking to have is not going to happen without my input. Seasons are going to come and go. There are some seasons where there's a lot of activity, and then there's some seasons where there's some activity, but maybe not as much as the prior season. And we learn to go with the ebbs and flows of the seasons. So they say we plant in the spring and summer. And by the end of summer, beginning of fall, we have the fruits of our labor. We rest in wintertime, right? We gather up what we planted in the spring and the summer. You know, we have some for now, put some away so that we can have it during the wintertime. But each season brings about a different level of change. This season, springtime, is the season that we start to activate the change that we meditated on, that we reflected on, that we planned on, right? That we planned on in the wintertime. See, a lot of people in the wintertime, you know, if they don't suffer from any or I don't want to say suffer, live with, right? If they live with any seasonal depression, right? It may be a little harder in the wintertime. But for those that don't suffer from seasonal depression in the wintertime, the opposite is true. And what I mean by that, the wintertime is a season for hibernation, right? But what are we doing? We're resting and planning, resting and planning, resting and planning, resting and planning, resting, planning, strategizing, if you will, resting, planning, strategizing, so that when the spring comes, we can implement what we were planning and strategizing. And now we have the energy from the rest period of the wintertime to spring ahead, to actually spring ahead and do the things that we were visualizing for ourselves. And so my three coaching questions again are: what's no what in your life needs transformation during this season? What is standing in your way today? What's the one step you will take today to reset? Many of us, we said 2023 is going to be our year. Well, we're 2023. We are 1/3 of the year out. We got 3/4 of a year left. Think about how you want to spring ahead. What do you want the springtime to look like? What do you want the summertime to look like? What do you want fall to look like? Because winter will be coming around the corner too. If you like this, like, share, leave a comment, subscribe, subscribe, leave a comment, like and share. The slide that wasn't included that I want to add in right now is, if you're looking for me on YouTube, it's Coach B dash the CEO. There was a link in the description if you wanted to come up. Since no one came up today, that's okay. But in the future, if you want to come up, there's a StreamYard, right? Not a Streamline. I'm thinking about something else. There's a StreamYard link in the description. If you hit that and you want to give Facebook permission to come up so that you can come up and leave your comments and I can share it with the community at large, feel free to do that. That's in the YouTube space. That's also in the Facebook space. Again, I'm here on Monday mornings, being creative, giving people information. Hopefully, this information is giving you food for thought, that is inspiring you or having some level of transformation in your life. This has been your Monday Morning Magic. Like, share, leave a comment, and please subscribe. Thank you.